Alright, so here we have the comparison. This is the new Rancho RS 9000 series compared to the old shock. I was having a hell of a problem with the old shock. It was giving me a squeaking noise. It wasn't releasing, fully releasing properly. It was kind of giving a herky-jerky kind of motion, making a really weird noise inside the truck. So had to upgrade, so I figured I'd go with the Rancho's 9000s. Sprayed oil on it and whatnot just to see if that would kind of get rid of the noise, and that's what that gooey crap is on there, but that didn't work worth a darn. So alright, so first step here, what I did is I supported the cross member there utilizing a jack stand, and I got the tire off here. That's all I did so far on this side. I got that supported right now with the hydraulic jack, as you see. Here's the complete factory assembly. I already did the other side. I figured I'd go ahead and get a little bit of experience first before I throw this on video, so I don't look like a complete moron. And that's what we got so far. As I said, nothing major. Just went ahead and took this tire off at this point in time. All right, so first thing that we got to do here is I'm gonna go ahead and come down here. Right here, this is the anti-lock brake system cable. It's kind of just pinched in there. Just get that nice and loose so that we got some play, because this whole assembly is going to drop down once we go ahead and get this going. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the tie rod end right here, loosen that up. We're going to take off the stabilizer bar assembly here. Just go ahead and pop that out of there. Ultimately, we're going to remove this bolt. That'll loosen up the bottom of our strut assembly. And then up top here, we got 3 nuts. Need to take all those. And the tie rod top here, or I'm sorry, the ball joint, the upper ball joint. That will release the whole mechanism, give us all the play that we need in this assembly. Believe it or not, we'll be able to just maneuver it right on out. Works out pretty nice. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Alright, so first things first, cotter pin is out. I'm going to use a 21 millimeter on the tie rod end here. Remove that and get that out of our way. Alright, that's loose. Gonna go ahead and just tap this out a little bit. There we go. Take that off the rest of the way. I don't even know if you're seeing this. Alright, pop that up. There we go. So tie rod end is out. There's where it was. Alright, like I said, just push it off to the side there. Alright, like I said, we got to get the stabilizer bar loose now. Alright, 18 millimeter deep well. Go ahead and that gets us nice and loose over here. I found that this is necessary to give us the extra play that we need in order to get the lower assembly open enough so that we can go ahead and access the strut. So 18 millimeter and loosen it up. Now this assembly, once you do get it loose, it will freewheel on you. Alright, if you take a look, you got spinning up there, so you're going to want to grab a crescent wrench or appropriate size wrench, I don't know, but I'm using a crescent wrench, and just ratchet onto that, keep it from spinning around on you here. pretty much that. Alright, so now we have that loose. What I did is on the other side I started tapping that out after we got the assembly loose. It just comes right out. This freewheel's in there. It's just kind of held in by some friction right now. Alright, next step is going to be take off the upper ball joint. Alright, I'm using a 13/16 deep socket. Slap that bad boy up there and get this nice and loose. Alright, for a little bit of back pressure here, what I did is I put the tie rod back in, because otherwise the whole mechanism, it does free spin now. So with the tie rod back in, went ahead and used that just to go ahead and keep it from wiggling on us. So now that's nice and loose. Get this all separated. Alright, now that we got that off, now comes the fun part. Grab yourself a BHF or BFH, big friggin' hammer, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and start tapping this away. Believe it or not, it will separate on its own. Alright, after I paused last time, I gave it about another 5 whacks, and that's what I wound up with. Separate it nice and neat. Alright. Now this is the part that everybody's probably gonna not like. I didn't take off the brakes. I'd recommend probably taking off the brakes. I'm just being lazy here. But the cable does get a little bit stretched. Still got some play here and whatnot, but I think I'll be alright. Alright, now that we're getting down to it here, we're going to have to release this bottom one, the bottom nut there. Alright, I already put a socket on the outside there. That's the, let's see what size we used here. It's going to be a 21 millimeter. Alright, so 21 millimeter fits onto this end. This side over here, I think is a 1. My problem is I don't have a 1 and a deep well, so I'm probably going to use a crescent wrench just to go ahead and secure this one up. I had trouble on the other side because of it. And aside from that, I still have to loosen up these here. And we're pretty much in the home stretch here, alright? So let me go ahead and get a couple tools straightened out and get moving on this. Okay, so what I did here is I used a breaker bar. Not a deep well, so I only got a little tiny bit of space in there, but I got enough that I'm going to be able to break it and get it nice and loose and start getting that bolt ready to get out of there. Alright, now that we got that off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on unscrewing that thread. You know, just kind of works its way through. It assists you in bringing it out. So I'm just going to keep on reverse screwing it out, and this whole bolt will come right out. Alright, so I got the bolt out now. Alright, this is all still hanging here, freestyling. Up top, I'm going to take out those bolts. I think the directions said do it first. Me personally, on the other side, I didn't see any reason to do that first. It doesn't really solve any of your problems, so I'm going to take those out. And that's the last step. Once those are loose, this whole mechanism will pop right out, the whole strut assembly, and work on getting the new one in there. I'm probably going to have to, like I mentioned before, this here, the stabilizer bar, in order to get a little bit of room, in order to get these tongues out of here, I'm probably going to have to tap that down some. Last time I didn't even take it all the way out. I got down to like the very end, and from there I had enough free room to go ahead and maneuver it around. So if you miss anything, that'll probably be the only part that you miss, but stand by, we'll see. Alright, so up top here, rid of these. Rancho wrench is nice up here, get all the free room that you need. Alright, if you take notice, everything's loose now. All those bolts are gone up top. That just rattles around like a son of a bitch. But like I said, not going to be able to make clearance while that thing is still in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this down a little bit more and start tapping. This will come loose, and that'll give us the play that we need. Alright, so like I said, just kind of hammer this down enough that's going to give you enough play. Alright, see it's still even through there a little bit. Alright, and that gives us enough room. All we gotta do now is grab a hold of the spring assembly, lift, and she's out. Slip inside. Gonna clean that out some, and we're just gonna do the reverse and put it all together, put it all back together. All right, here's the new shock. As I was saying, after installation, it says vehicle height may appear high. It takes a little while for it to settle. We're gonna go ahead and start slipping this in here. Hopefully it goes in nice and easy. And take and wipe down all the components right quick and just make sure that we got, you know, as little grit and dirt in there as possible. Be right back. Alright, well here's our shock back again. Now, I don't know for what reason, but mine came with stickers already on them. The other shock that I have did not have stickers on them. So the problem is, however, is the sticker that's going to be facing towards the outside on the other side here is actually on somewhat crooked. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that off, replace it with a new one that came also in the package here, and go from there. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of odd is that these, when they're mounted, the adjuster faces towards the inside, or towards the back of the vehicle. Well, kind of screwy, because there's our drive shaft. Now, I thought maybe I was screwed up and I put it on the wrong side, or whatever the deal might be. Called up Rancho and actually spoke with the technician, who did inform me that they do mount them. The proper way to mount them is towards the rear. That way it's less subject to debris and whatnot. Fine with me. I go with it. It sounds good reason and all that stuff, and kind of assume that might be why. However, just kind of odd to me, because now in order to make the adjustments, I do have to kind of work my way around a drive shaft in order to change up the ride settings. But you know, oh well, it is what it is. On top of that, I'd recommend definitely required material during the install. Alright, to get this back in, not too bad of a deal. I just got to kind of give some downward pressure here. Gives you enough clearance, get those bolts in, and get us lined up. Can't get that damn sticker off. I'll work on that in a little bit here. I would have showed you me putting it in, however I'm doing this solo, so kind of need two hands here. But now next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and kit came with its own set of 3 brand new mounting bolts here. Going to utilize the 3 mounting bolts rather than the old bolts that are there, so these 3 are garbage, and go ahead and just snug them up. That's going to be my first step. Second step is I'm going to put that bolt back through and tighten her down. Alright, for the top here, the new ones, they're 15 metric as well, same as the old ones that were on here. So we're just going to go ahead and snug these down a little bit here. I think the ratcheting wrench is probably your best bet up here. Not a lot of room for clearance from a ratchet. Alright, I still have the top loose for a little bit of wiggle room here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start figuring out how to get this bolt back in. It's going to take a little bit of work from the floor jack, a little bit of movement. I got some free play here that I can go ahead and wiggle back and forth with, so you know, with the combination I'll be able to go ahead and get that bolt back through nice and smooth, and then I'll snug her all down. Okay, I got that back threaded through. Now what I'm going to do is, as I'm working it through, just go ahead and